we have the 40 plus power bombs. There are only 50 in the game total, so that means you're going to have to figure out which ones to skip. Do you skip the 2 lower Norfair ones? Do you skip the one in Meridia? Do you skip the Croc power bombs? Do you skip the criteria power bombs, which is a real slow get if you don't have space jump or speed booster. You might have to bomb jump up there. And the other power bomb one, of course, is you collect all 15 Norfair power bombs, which is kind of a euphemism of kill Croc and get all the power bombs in lower Norfair, because that's where they all are.
Yeah, collect 15 Norfair power bombs is one of the, I would say, maybe slowest and most dangerous squares in all of the I believe there's like 130, something in that ballpark. There's like 130 roughly different objectives that can be assigned, and then you get 25 of them here. But yeah, those are pretty bad. My initial pick when we were talking about it was column 4. I think column 4 is pretty rough, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's the slowest or the worst. There's a lot of options up here for things that are slow, so we'll see what they assign. Do we have their assignments yet?
Well, yeah, we do. So, look, piggybacking off the power bomb comments, we have Feral is being forced to do bottom left, top right, which includes that collect all 15 Norfair power bombs. He will also have to defeat Spore Spawn. Collect Gravity Suit and skip Very Suit for Azder should be pretty free. He is a new route runner, so that won't be a problem for him. He will have to finish near one of the beams and then collect 50 out of 75 Norfair missiles, which isn't too bad. You don't have to really go into lower Norfair for that, but he will because he has to get the power bombs anyway. It's not up on the card yet. Oh no, there it is. Azder, on the other hand, has to. Oh, it's Feral has to do the diagonal. So he'll again is a new route runner. So collecting Gravity Suit and skipping barriers should not be a problem for him. Azder will have to also collect the 50 out of 75 Norfair missiles. He'll have to pick up X-ray scope. He'll have to get all 40 power bombs. He'll have to get the Criteria super missile, which is one of the most annoying super missiles to pick up in the game. He'll have to go get speed booster for that, and he'll have to destroy a statue, which isn't too bad to route. But it is something he'll have to figure out when to go hit that G4 room to destroy that statue.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I see Wildfire in the chat saying something that I actually agree with. I think it'd be fun. These, during this DAB tournament, I think these are the same DAB objectives that have been around for a while, and they're all good. But it would be cool to update it and make it a little bit more complex, like put some limits on things. For example, I think it'd be neat to collect exactly 3 energy tanks or something like that, to where you'd have to really figure out like where to get them, and then some dangerous situations, because right now you can kind of get whatever you want along the way.
We might lose a few trackers if we do that for our missiles.
Right, exactly. But it does make it more harder to keep up with. But let me just give a quick background so you guys understand what you're looking at here with the runners if you aren't familiar. Feral and Azder are 2 of the most experienced speedrunners in this tournament in terms of traditional speedrunning of Super Metroid. Azder has a little bit of an advantage in terms of rando. I think he's done a lot more rando and things like that than Feral has. Although I will point out, while rando skills are very good and can translate to dab, I think a lot of people overvalue rando stuff with dab, because what they forget is that you're literally like playing the vanilla game, and so everything is in its exact place. So you really have to know a little bit more about how to get to where you need, and then what to do with it, as opposed to adapting on the fly to something new, if that makes sense.
Yeah, the rando skills, I think, translate in the sense that in a randomizer, you're not necessarily going to have all the same items that you have in a vanilla run. But you're right, this stuff is in the same place. There's certain soft lock preventions in randomizers and certain changes to the suits that aren't in vanilla, and people tend to forget some of those things. So, there are advantages and disadvantages to that.
Yeah, and so the routing components are very different, but that's the similarity, and I think that's what's neat. DAB really rewards your understanding of where everything is and also how to get to things efficiently. You're never really adjusting to new information, if that makes sense. So the quicker you can figure out how to do it, the better off you're going to be. So Azder and Feral are both very good runners, and this should be an excellent match. I would also say, without criticizing either runner, I would say Feral is the maybe better, more traditional speedrunner. Like, you know, his any percent time is a lot faster and stuff. But azder has more experience across multiple categories, which I think translates very well to Dab. So this is a really interesting matchup of style.
Yeah, absolutely. I would agree with both of those statements.
We're also seeing that come to fruition just a little bit here because they've both done the exact same things at the beginning of the game, but Farrell has a little bit of a lead, but that's because we are kind of doing the basic stuff that you do in every single run. He's probably up by about maybe 10 seconds or so, maybe 8. But once they start routing, it'll start getting real crazy.
Yeah, it's going to be a little interesting. I know Farrell has admitted to looking at maps during these, so how well he knows exactly where to get his 50 Norfair missiles. Fortunately for him, he does get to choose between missiles, although there are 11 in Upper Norfair, there are 4 in Lower Norfair. He's going to have to go to Lower Norfair, so he doesn't have to really think about whether to get him in Upper or Lower. Like, if they didn't have, and it's the same with azder with the 40 plus power bombs. Both of them can consider the Lower Norfair missiles as possibilities as well, because they have to go there anyway. So, or in azder's case, he could choose not to. I suppose he could get that criteria power bomb instead, but not get the criteria one and the meridian one.
So one thing y'all just noticed is if you take a look at the card, Farrell is being forced to collect Gravity Suit and skip Various Suit, so we know for sure he's going to Phantom first. You can also tell that represented in the fact that he killed all of the pirates up there, didn't take any damage, he's maintaining his health, whereas azder ran into them. That, to me, dictates very heavily that he is not going to go to Phantom first. You almost will never take that amount of damage on purpose. In fact, it wouldn't surprise me, given what Farrell has been assigned, it wouldn't surprise me to see him literally just run straight up new route, like up all the way to Gravity, basically, or all the way to at least the wrecked ship. So we might just see him do what he normally does every single run anyway, whereas azder's going to route a little bit differently here when he gets down.
Yeah, an interesting point for azder. He could theoretically, I'm looking for a row or a column that'll allow him to do this. Theoretically, he could just avoid the wreck ship altogether if he wanted to. Obviously, that means he'd have to get the power bombs in Lower Norfair if he decided to do that. But that would be an option. I mean, he's going to want to go down first in general because he needs to get that speed booster for that criteria super missile. And I think that's more of a backtrack if you go to wreck ship first, then get speed booster, and then go to the criteria super.
Yeah, that's a good point. The only thing that's different that Farrell's doing here, is going to Spore Spawn first. But Spore Spawn, I don't want to say it's easy. It's not easy. It's sometimes you make mistakes, but Spore Spawn is not nearly as difficult of a 2-round with super missiles, so hopefully Farrell can dispatch without any issue.
Yeah, Spore Spawn is really slow, though, and he doesn't drop any super missiles, so Farrell's got the 4, and that's all he's going to get.
Yeah, he needs 3 of the supers and 1 missile. The traditional super kill for most people is round 1, you hit Spore Spawn with 2 supers, and then round 2, a missile and a super finish. So we'll see how it goes.
Okay, Ash, you're going to leave that X-ray scope alone for now, which is probably smart. It is doable at this point, but it's a fairly tricky set of damage boosts to do it right now.
Very nice kill by Farrell on Spore Spawn. One hidden benefit of doing Spore Spawn early, I wouldn't necessarily call it hidden, but one thing you can keep in mind is a nice super by azder on the blue door there, is you get this extra super pack early in the game, which, can actually make things a little bit easier and a little bit faster, so we'll see what he chooses to do with those.
Yeah, and Dirk making the good point that it's kind of hard to go to X-ray right now for azder because he doesn't have PBs. He could have gone and gotten some power bombs and come back for it, but I don't think that would be worth it.
So yeah, azder's making his way over here to Kraid. I'm a little surprised. Okay, I guess he's gonna do a charge shot setup. Okay, never mind. He's got a missile now. So there's kind of a couple of ways to do the Kraid quick kill. I would say the majority of people especially as you get more experience,
I
use
think
missiles.
yeah,
But
I think the fastest way is to do the 2 missile setup and then use the 3 supers. I know myself, I have trouble with that, so I do a single shot and then 4 supers.
yeah, I was gonna say using the force supers is another great method. Some people use their charge beam, stuff like that. But I think at this point, Farrell's probably gonna head up to Rex ship. I don't, sometimes I lose track of what all's going on. Plus, I don't know what they're thinking. Tracy and I have no idea what they're thinking or what they're choosing to pair. Uh, and sometimes the runners pair stuff that you wouldn't think. So I'm expecting Farrell to just head straight up to Fantoon after grabbing the Alpha Power Bombs, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes a lot of sense. He can't get the Very Suit anyway, and of course, this not being randomizer, the Gravity Suit does give him the full heat protection. So there's really no point for him to pick up Very Suit, and he can't pick it up because he's got this tile that tells him he can't pick it up. So unless he wants to do some hell runs to get stuff in Norfair, there makes no sense for him to go down first, especially being an accomplished new route runner.
One thing I do want to point out that I find really fascinating when watching these dabs is right now Farrell's doing stuff that he literally has done hundreds, if not thousands of times, and it looks very fluid. However, there will be points during a dab where you're doing a bunch of strats in rooms with certain items, sets that you just never do because of the way the routing works out. And so, like, what looks really smooth right now might turn into, like, kind of somewhat awkward movements later, which is not a criticism. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yeah, that's where the randomizer skill comes in, because that happens in randomizer too. The
right.
having different items for different areas than you would have in a vanilla run.
So Farrell's coming up on, in some ways, I mean, even for an experienced runner, one of the more intimidating rooms because, when you're in a race and the clock is ticking and you can't reset and there's people watching, sometimes you can get it in your mind a little bit and it's hard to get past the moat. So Azder right now is heading to pick up the extremely powerful high jump boots, so that means that he definitely will not do column 4 or row 4.
And that's not a surprise.
Yeah, not a surprise at all.
I mean, the rest of a column or a row would have to be pretty easy for someone to choose to skip high jump boots, I think.
Ooh, Farrell. Very well done.
First try, HBJ. Okay, so the question has been asked, what does finish near a beam mean? It basically means you need to finish where the beam is in sight, in the same room, but I think you actually have to see the beam, because if you think about charge beam, I think you actually have to be next to it. But
yeah, I think you have to have the
statue on the screen.
Yeah, the Frieza statue has to be fully on the screen, if I recall correctly. I mean, you can finish near it and have already collected it, for example. Like, you could finish near charge beam later in the match after you already collected it earlier in the match.
I'm not sure that's going to come into play here, though. I'm looking at if you look at row 4, you've got the skip high jump boots. If you look at column 2, you've got plasma beam, and that's kind of out of the way compared to what else these guys have to do. So
Farrell, it might not seem like it, but Farrell's actually in a really good spot with his health. Basically, Fantoon does 40 damage, both his body and the flames, to the power suit, and so having 140 health means you can get hit 3 times and then still be in health bomb range. So that's usually a good defensive mechanism. But Farrell kind of messed up his air Doppler a second ago, which he's actually very good at. But he's going to have to 3-round Fantoon here. So see, he should be able to get a few missiles in and then a super here and clean this up pretty easily.
No, and Azure going for and getting the right side Bubble Mountain wall jumps.
Yeah, that was nice.
He'll pick up his speed booster now. And as you're picking up all the missiles on the way.
Here's something I would be thinking about. I haven't looked super closely at the entire card, but column 1 is a pretty easy pairing. I know that getting plasma beam seems kind of slow, but it's not as bad as you might would think in relation to some other things you could do. He's getting 15 Norfair power bombs. That would cover the 15 power bombs from column 1. Screw attack, he's going to be going to lower Norfair anyway. It only takes like a minute to go over there. He's going to have high jump boots and speed boost to be able to get out. right now, see, I think that's what he's thinking. If you see right now, he's collecting the second pack of super missiles
Yep.
in wreck ship. So it would be very surprising to me if he did not pair column one. Basically, he can do all the lower Norfair stuff, get out, then immediately go to Meridia, kill Dragon, and then end at Plasma Beam. It's really not as bad as people might would think. Plus, sometimes when you're in the middle of running the match, you have to focus on strats, and sometimes it's better to just pick something that you know will work and roll with it, as opposed to like trying to go through every possible scenario while you're trying to run. So
Oh, absolutely.
I think this is a
Although
good move.
I would argue he could also do the he could do column 5 because he has 20 super missiles. The hardest part about that would be finishing at the landing site, having to get all the way back to the landing site after finishing up his power bomb collection.
That is true. He would have to path back and kill a statue and then do that. He might actually be doing that, to be honest with you. I mean, we don't know for sure yet.
Sometimes we don't know for sure until they finish. So
Exactly, yeah. I mean, so just because he got all 10 of the wreck ship supers does not necessarily mean he's doing column one or row one for that matter. But we'll see. We'll see what he's doing here. I guess technically he could do row one too. It wouldn't be too bad.
yeah. And if you wanted to go over to that, the harder part about that is when do you visit the Criteria Meridia elevator? He could do that right now after he gets his gravity suit if he wanted to, and then come back up. That seems pretty out of the way. Azure, meanwhile, finishing up Crocomire, which is forced on him for, well, that's not quite forced. You could skip the Croc power bombs, but I think there are better power bombs to skip. Plus, there's a bunch of Norfair missiles he can pick up down here.
You know, actually, now that I think about it, I actually think that row one would be a better pairing for Farrell, because he would just visit the elevator. I mean, it's not fast; it's a pretty slow thing, but he could visit it, immediately go to Meridia. It would end up putting him back at the tube, and then he'd just spend the rest of his run in Norfair.
Yeah, that's actually a really good point.
You know, 4 energy tanks is not hard to do. He doesn't want to collect grapple beam anyway. He definitely does want to get speed booster. So those are all just natural things to do. The only unnatural thing is the elevator. Yep, here we go. All right, it's row one for sure. It's got to be.
A little hard to say for Azure. He did not pick up the Brinstar reserve tank, so I think row 2 is out. Even though he's so far only collected 1 of speed and ice. He is going to pick up the grapple beam here, it looks like. Or is he? No, he is picking up the grapple beam. I thought maybe for a second he was just going to get the missiles here. I'm trying to see if there's any grapple beam pickup square. I don't see anything that's...
There's one that says only 1 of speed booster or grapple, but I doubt that's part of the equation.
Oh, almost gets the Indiana Jones. We'll just have to go get those missiles with speed booster.
I like the pickup here by Farrell of that energy tank, because the section he's about to go through here, even with gravity suit, he was only walking in there with like 60, 70 health, something like that. But these pancakes do a lot of damage. The fish do a lot of damage. There's a bunch of crabs along the way, and then there's stuff in Meridia that does a lot of damage once you get down there. And most people don't go this way. You know what I mean? So
not at all.
I like the idea of picking up that energy tank and not only getting a refill, but getting a new extra 100.
Yeah, it's called the Forgotten Highway for a reason.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't see it very often. Azure's got to be pretty close to getting all his Norfair missiles by now. I didn't see him skip any, so I think if he picks up the Croc missiles, he'll have them.
One thing that I actually figured out last night, I think, I'd never noticed this before, and I could be wrong. You know, there's a lot of people out there that know a lot more than I do about how everything is set up in Super Metroid, but I think the color, like when you go down Barrel doesn't know where to go. It's up top, buddy. Go up one more level. Right there.
Yeah, there you go.
When you're going down an elevator, there's like a color on the walls, and I think it's purple here, and I don't think it's the same color, or maybe pink. I don't think it's the same color elsewhere. Let's take a quick look. when Farrell actually enters this next room, if you look at the side walls, yeah, look at that color tint. I
That's
don't
a
think you
pretty
see
color.
that anywhere else.
I never thought about that. I have to look for that now.
Yeah, I could be wrong, but it was something that I noticed. I was like, I don't think I've seen that color before.
All right, look at Azder's going to head straight down into Lower Norfair to get some power bombs down here. Gonna do a lava dive. He doesn't have gravity suit yet. Very nicely done. Is going to take a safety save.
I assume he's doing that maybe because he wants to pick up X-ray, or excuse me, X-ray screw attack, or maybe it's just because he's concerned about how dangerous it is down here. Don't forget that with various suit, most of the things down here either do 100 or 80 damage. So, literally just a couple of shots and you're dead. So I don't blame him for the safety save here.
Bigger question, I wonder if he's going to pick up screw attack for some extra safety. It is something that he could do, and you could also do like column 1 or something.
Yeah, he's not. But yeah, just real quick, Tracy, not to interrupt you, I just want to point out one thing to kind of get the ball rolling here. I don't think, I could be wrong, but I don't think there's been a single person in this tournament who's gone down and done a full clear of Lower Norfair with only various suit and actually lived. So
I have. Well, not full clear.
Well, okay. So
I had lots
again,
of E-tanks, but yeah,
so
with
again,
more E-tanks though, yeah,
with
this is where it's...
Yeah, with this item set, I don't think anybody's done it. It is possible to do it. I've done it in practice, but it's not like, it's way harder than people think. So let's just hope he doesn't make any major mistakes.
He doesn't have to fight Ridley, at least. Unless he chooses to do column 4, and I don't think that's happening.
See, he's forced to do the new route washroom strat here, which is pretty dangerous.
He's going to lay this power bomb, and he's going to try and wall jump right where that space pirate is using the iframes there. And this is not good. Okay, there we go.
He is 2 hits from death, and I like that decision. He's going to kill that. I think he's okay now, assuming he doesn't do anything really bad here. If he can just do kind of a normal new route amphitheater, he should be fine to make it to fire.
Yeah, amphitheater is a little scary without gravity suit, because if that acid catches up with you, your movement just completely gets destroyed. But he does make it through just fine. And he is going to pick up the energy tank here. That'll make things a lot safer.
There we go, not bad. I wonder if he's going to kill Ridley.
Let's see. There's. I mean,
he could. I can't see it.
That doesn't make a lot of sense.
Yeah, I didn't really look at the card very carefully, but there's nothing on here with Ridley that would make sense for him.
Yeah, that would be either a column 4 or a row 3, and I don't think either one of those makes a whole lot of sense. I think he's just going to pick up some power bombs and get out.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think you're right.
Meanwhile, Farrell's getting into his Norfair cleanup. He also needs to pick up all those Norfair missiles. I think Azure still has one more Norfair missile he needs to pick up, but there's 2 easy ones to pick up when he escapes Lower Norfair that he'll probably go for.
Look, I'm just going to go ahead and call it now real quick. I think Farrell's about to run a top time in the tournament, probably. The way that row 1 ended up pairing with the diagonal he was assigned is exceptionally linear.
Yeah.
Which, there's a lot of discussion about what makes a good column or row selection. People talk about collection versus tricks versus whatever. Really, I think it's more about the routing. And he's outside of going to Spore Spawn and then, running over to the elevator, which is, slower, but not that big of a deal. I mean, he's basically able to just go straight through and do what he would normally do in other categories, like 100%. So once he gets the 15 Norfair power bombs, like once he goes down to Lower Norfair and gets those and then heads up and finishes near Wave Beam, he's really not pathing very far.
No, not at all.
This.
Okay, as you're leaving Lower Norfair, as we speak of it, he'll pick up one more missile pack, I believe. I should check with our tracker. Shoutouts to our tracker, Spaghetti Toastbook, who's done a ton of tracking this tournament. And she'll let us know if that's the 10th or 50th Norfair missile, or that's 35 Norfair missiles. Okay.
Yeah, let's be honest here. Tracy and I are just having fun. Spaghetti's doing the real work. So.
It is absolutely the real. I tracked one of these. It's hard.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was only tracking one runner. She's tracking both, so.
I can sit here and talk all day. It doesn't matter what I say, right? But when I actually have to pay attention and like click buttons, it's a lot harder. So thank you, Spaghetti.
Oh, he hasn't picked up Wave Beam yet, so he's gonna probably pick up the Wave Missiles on his way out, and either Croc Escape or the ones in Bubble Mountain. I don't think he's picked those up either. I'm sure he'll pick these up right here. Looks like Pharaoh's gonna head down to Croc to get those power bombs.
Pharaoh was trying for the super swaggy strat there, using the super to knock off that stone gamer and then deboosting off of it. It's a really neat strat.
And to answer the question in chat, no, they do not have to beat the game after finishing the card. Okay, as you're going to head over to the reserve tank area, he can pick up 2 more missile packs there, and I think that'll do it for him for the Norfair missiles.
Yeah, I'm really happy that azder was able to get in and out of Lower Norfair without any more issues after the worst room in the game. So,
well, it's called the worst room in the game for a reason.
Right, exactly. So he's in kind of a good safety position now. He shouldn't have any more super dangerous things. So yeah, Pharaoh is forced to kill Croc here because 15 Norfair power bombs, as Tracy pointed out earlier. One of the power bomb packs is behind Crocomire. He also, am confident will be collecting both of the missiles down here to get to 50, and then he'll be done with that. And then it's basically just Lower Norfair, and then back up to Wave Beam.
Yep. Whereas azder, I think he's just got to do a bunch of Brinstar cleanup. If he's doing, let's see, is he? Yeah, he does have all 15 Norfair power bombs as part of his 40. So he needs to get the power bombs in Brinstar, get that Criteria super missile, run by the statue, get his X-ray scope, and if he finishes at the landing site, that would give him column 5, and that's actually not that far away for him.
Yeah, it's shaping up to be a pretty interesting match. I'm a little concerned. It's hard to tell, on the fly, but I'm a little concerned about the just the amount of running around azder is going to be forced to do. Sometimes it takes a little longer than you anticipate, going up all these elevators and stuff like that. Yeah, as we can see, the elevator here is white on the sides.
There you go.
For azder. But anyway, so we'll see. This has been a really good match so far. Both players playing really well.
Yeah, between the two of us, we probably have 50 years of playing this game, so and we've never noticed that before. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah, the hard part for azder right now is pathing all those power bombs. He hasn't gotten the ones, the traditional alpha and beta power bombs, and then there's like 3 more in Brinstar that he's gonna want to pick up, most likely.
Here comes the X-ray pickup. Not a lot of drama here, considering he has the grapple beam.
Yeah, Spaghetti Toast was making a good point. This is probably why he picked up grapple. Although it actually isn't too bad to get through this room if you have a combination of high jump boots and speed booster, because you can just jump up with a wall jump to the 2 spots that you need to. It's an interesting question whether it's just simpler and faster to just pick up that grapple beam, and certainly is safer. Doesn't even bother using it on the way out.
I think Pharaoh might not be aware of the. Okay. Oh.
He's going for the spark through there.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's wasting a lot of time here. There's absolutely no reason for him to do that. He can just run through there and just deboost off of the spikes. It shouldn't be too big of an issue. But you know, everybody does it in whatever way they want to. I expect we'll see a lava spark here. Oh, I guess not. Usually Pharaoh goes for that in his normal runs. I didn't hear the jump. Did he actually get the jump?
No, looks like
yeah, okay. He didn't get it. Usually you can hear the... If you listen carefully, you can hear it right before the menu. There you go.
It's easy to miss seeing it, though. The way the pause menu works and the way this works, the later you jump before the pause menu actually goes into effect. So basically you pause and then you jump. And the later you get that jump, the higher you're going to jump.
Yeah, I actually trust the audio cue there way more than the visual. I never look at the visual. I just look at the audio, or listen to the audio cue to know if I got the jump or not.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
So yeah, we're basically going to see a new route, Lower Norfair here, all the way through Wasteland, where he will grab the Power Bombs of Shame, and then he'll head up to grab the Power Bombs. I don't remember what you call them exactly, but
Power bombs
on the way out of Lower Norfair.
The Power Bombs in jail.
That's a good one.
I like that name.
Yeah, that's a good name. So yeah, we've got the same strat Azder was going for here, trying to clip through. Looks like, yeah, he's got the right position on the wall.
A little bit safer for Pharaoh because he's got gravity suit.
Exactly. So they're only doing 50. Of course, 50 is still a lot. You know?
Still a lot, absolutely.
I think Pharaoh got it here. He's gonna go for the new route. Echo's kill on the... Oh, yeah. I've never seen anybody get a Shine Spark diagonally all the way back up through the...
Asher's got to be careful here. Those side hoppers. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think they do, what, 80 to the power suit, so they would have done
40. Yep.
Yeah.
He got hit by a few of them. He might still have one more to kill. Yeah, he does. That is a gray door. People forget that. You do have to kill those side hoppers if you want to go out that direction. Yeah.
I am not a huge fan of Pharaoh's decision to kill these things with super missiles. I mean, it works, but I think it might have been easier to use some power bombs and like clip through them with the iframes. But he's fine. Hopefully, he won't get hit. He can only get hit twice now on the way out from the key hunters. But if I were him, I might even just stop and pick up the fire fleet E-tank just to be careful. I highly doubt 10 seconds in this circumstance is going to be the difference between winning and losing.
Probably not.
Whereas dying would be the difference.
Yeah. Okay, I think Azder's heading over towards the Edacoons. He'll get it. He can get a power bomb and a super missile there. His energy is awfully low, though. Fortunately, he's in one of the safer parts of this game, but he's got to be careful.
Very prudent decision by Pharaoh. I 100% agree with it. I think this is the right move. He does not have to pick this energy tank up.
Nope.
But I do think that it's definitely the smartest call, given the fact that he still has to get out of the Three Musketeers room and would have had to go basically only getting hit once. It's very easy to mess up the timing, so I like it.
And as you're picking up this E-Tank he doesn't need with that 37 energy, I think that's a smart move too.
Yeah, I like it.
So he's going to go get these Edakun power bombs.
I think Pharaoh's in a pretty... I mean, I could be wrong here, but I think if you factor in the elevator running all the way to G4, doing the statues and everything, I think Pharaoh's in a bit of a commanding position. He's just got to collect this one power bomb and then literally walk to wave beam.
I think in the end, the 40 power bombs was the more powerful square than the 15 Norfair power bombs we're seeing.
Yeah, and this is
the biggest difference.
Yeah, I agree. I think this is also another one of those cases, kind of like my match with Derp, where a lot of people thought that the thing that he assigned me was really slow, and it was. Unfortunately, it paired super well with something else.
Yeah.
So in this case, Pharaoh had something that paired extremely well with what he was assigned to do, and whereas Azder kind of had, more running around and more collection, I guess would be a better way to put it.
Yeah, he's still got to pick up that Criteria super missile. He's going to do a statue now.
Ooh, Pharaoh, well done on the jukes there. But yeah, Azder's had a really good run. It's just,
yeah, he has.
Again, this dab, it really strongly comes down to what you're assigned to do. Sometimes two runners can be of similar skill, but then if one has to do something that's way more routing than the other, you can win by multiple minutes. So yeah, Pharaoh's going to finish up here in just a moment. Very, very clean run by him. Well done. And he'll be moving on to face, is it Rumble? I need to look.
That sounds right. Let's see if I can get this. Yep, he will play Rumble next.
Yeah, Rumble. So we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. I think there's only going to be 6 players left in that round.
Yep, Farrell finishing up with an official SRL time of 34:14. GG to Farrell.
Yeah, it's a great time. 37. Anything sub 40 and dab, I think, is a very, very good, strong time.
Absolutely. So
good job by him. And he'll be moving on to face our boy Rumblemans in the losers bracket, I guess, semifinal. So yeah, great run.
It looks like Azur's going to finish up. He just needs to. I think is he at 40 power bombs or is he at 35? He may be picking up these Criteria power bombs to finish it off, and then he'll be at the landing site when he leaves that. Yeah, he's going to pick up the Criteria power bombs.
And Azder is going to finish up here with a really good time as well. This actually ended up being a little bit tighter than it might have.
No, this is very tight. I don't think either one of both these guys had very good routes for what they had to do. Can't really fault anything that they did, so it was very well done.
Yeah, it was a good race.
Hey.
And joining us is Farrell.
Hello.
How you doing?
Good, yeah. That was probably my best dab match I've done in terms of routing, and I just made one mistake, which is I thought I had to do a lava dive for some reason. And so I don't know if you noticed, but I turned off. I had gravity, but I turned off.
Yeah, I noticed.
I turned off speed, and then I didn't bounce. I was like, "Why didn't I bounce?" And it just hit me. I thought, "Oh, I could have lava sparked or gravity jumped."
Yeah.
Well, see, I'm jealous of you.
That was a huge brain fart there.
You're really, really good at the lava spark,
That's
and I'm
what I
really
was saying,
bad
you
at
know how to
it.
do
And
it.
so I was sitting here going like, oh man, he's gonna crush this lava spark, and then you just did the exact opposite turn.
Decided not.
And then I wasted time trying to get the D-boost before because I was trying to conserve health for the lava dive. and then I just ended up D-boosting through it in the spike room.
Looks like you're trying to get
Other than
trying to get the charge through the spike room too. That was that's pretty cool when you can
Yeah,
get that. That's a pretty tight charge though.
I got it and then I sparked sideways, I think. But other than that little like 30-second segment, the run was pretty well routed. That row that I picked went really well with it. So.
Yeah, we kind of think that's what it came down to. As you're joining us as well, that was a pretty easy pairing. Well, maybe not easy might be a strong word for it, but
that was a very close race actually. I didn't realize he
was
was that close behind.
And GG to Azder also joining us.
GG.
Yeah, GG. Good race.
That was pretty intense.
Yeah, that was a really interesting watch from our perspective because the routing and the item collection were just so drastically different. For example, it's not super common that you're able to do a full dab without needing gravity suit or something like that. So let's just start at the beginning. Can you guys talk us through a little bit, one at a time, about when you were looking at the card, why you decided to, assign the row or the column or whatever that you assigned? Because there was a lot of nasty stuff on this card.
Yeah, I looked at it and I thought actually row 5 was clearly the worst in my opinion. The 40 power bombs is just awful because you basically have to choose between Meridia or Norfair. You can't avoid either of them. And then the Criteria Super Missile, was it? It meant you had to backtrack.
Yep.
Right up because you had to get speed and go back. So that took out gravity first, basically. And extra scope's just annoying. You can get it early and risk dying, or you can get it late when it's out of the way. And the destroy one statue, like getting to G4 again, is pretty out of the way, especially if you don't do gravity first. You got to go all the way back up from Varia.
I think Criteria Super and Destroy One statue kind of go well together, and with like having to get 40 power bombs and like the Norfair, early Norfair, and then leave Norfair kind of thing. X-ray wasn't really out of the way.
Yeah. There wasn't anything super bad on this card, I don't think. It was...
No. I assigned the row I did because like the Norfair missile collection and being forced to get gravity suit for it kind of stood out to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked the finish near a beam goal. I didn't think about Wave Beam, honestly. That one's actually pretty close. I was thinking it'd be annoying to leave Lower Norfair. Like it ensured you couldn't finish in it.
Mm-hmm.
But Wave Beam really isn't too far. I didn't really think about that. But I did think about the fact that it blocked finish at landing site for row 3, because row 3 looked really good to pair with it, but it blocked that, so.
Yep.
I actually looked at a few to pair with it, and I wasn't watching the restream, but I was listening, and I heard Kip going through, and maybe he's doing top left to bottom right, and then maybe column 1. I was thinking, are you going to see row 1?
Yeah, I eventually got there.
We got there.
But, sometimes, in the middle of talking about it, I'm just kind of looking at one thing at a time. And at first I saw column 1 and I was like, it's not that bad because, you're going to Lower Norfair anyway. There's screw attack. The only kind of bad thing is having a path back out to do plasma beam.
Yep.
Yeah, that was the reason why I paired what I did, is because it was the only one that I could see that avoided Meridia other than the pass through.
Yeah, I agree. It was a much better decision, I think, for row 1.
There was so many Meridia tiles on there, and because I had to go into Lower Norfair, like all DAB players basically, if you have to go to Lower Norfair, try and avoid Meridia.
Never want to go to both Meridia and Lower Norfair, and Azure completely avoid the wreck ship, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I avoided wreck ship and Meridia, so like I thought I made the absolute best choice for pairing for what I got.
Yeah, I think it was a good choice.
That's a really good time for that row, yeah. For 40 power bombs and getting it in 38 minutes, that's it.
So I think
very good. And Lower Norfair with Varia is tough, man. I was worried you were going to die.
Dude, I think my routing was really good, but my execution was like very, very bad.
And I almost forgot Spore Spawn as well. I got down for charge and then realised, and I actually backtracked there.
Yeah, I don't want to skip the tiles that are given to you. That would have been an extra loop through Brinstar that you wouldn't have needed to do. So it's good you remember that.
And actually, it wasn't up until the Criteria Meridia elevator. I was actually planning on going there and then backtracking through Rex Ship, and it wasn't until I actually got on the elevator that I thought, actually, I can just cut right through and it's quicker. Because I'd never gone that way. I didn't even know where to go in there.
Yeah, we noticed that. we saw you searching for the little part you had to go through.
I laid a powerbomb and I was like, please show me the way.
I'm not gonna lie, that was my favorite part of the whole
funny.
thing was watching you go in the multiple holes. But you're right. I mean, you just don't normally go that way. So that's the fun thing about Dab is even somewhat different than Rando. A lot of times you might just end up in places you almost would just never go, you know?
I think every race I've done something new that I've never done before.
That's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, you're leveling up.
Whether it's like skipping high jump or it's going to a certain place.
So let's talk for just a minute about the future plans. This is a double elimination tournament. You guys were in the losers bracket, so great match. Unfortunately, azder has been knocked out. It's been a really good tournament for him. Farrell, you'll be facing Rumble in the next race, which I've been referring to Rumble as the sort of like speedrunner killer because he defeated a real cutie. He defeated Sweet Numb.
He's quite the dark horse in this tournament.
Yeah,
he's really good.
Wins.
So, tell me a little bit about that. And then azder, tell us what else you're up to. I know you're in some other tournaments, so just kind of give us a sense of what both you guys are up to. Both in this tournament and then elsewhere in speedrunning.
For me, yeah, I'm going to try and do this race because we're a bit behind on the losers bracket, so I'll try and schedule a Rumble pretty quickly. I don't know what to expect with him. I've missed all his matches, but I've seen he's, like you said, he's defeated Cutie and Sweet Numb, and those are any percent guys, and I'm an any percent guy. So I'm in trouble. But I'm a big fan of Rumble Mints, so it should be a good race. Other than that, I've only just started streaming again, so I'm just back to any percent. So that's about it for me.
Yeah, welcome back. azder, what about you, man? What are you up to?
So I'm kind of okay with the fact that the two people I lost to in this tournament are a 43 level, or at 43 in any percent.
Mm-hmm.
So better execution than me. I executed really poorly because this was hard to route and like make sure I had everything checked out and do all the unsafe stuff all at the same time. But so I'm out of this tournament. I'm doing J-Chalk's RBO tournament over on SRA that's starting like next week.
Yep.
And I'm also in the French Forest Communities GT Classic tournament that's going on now.
That's a tournament we've never done, GT Classic.
Oh, the multi-category was basically a GT Classic tournament for everyone.
It did seem to. I was gonna say it did come up a lot.
Everyone vetoed the good categories. Boss RTA and GT Classic tournament.
Still sad we never got a low ice in the brackets for that one.
Yeah,
I was really sad about that.
It was badly planned. The idea was. I was
going to say, ironically for me,
in the beginning, but people
right.
didn't want that.
We just couldn't. I mean, there was too much of a range of players to be able to do like low ice and RBO at the beginning. But ironically, I vetoed Dab every single match during the multi-category tournament.
Little did you know how good you were at it.
Well, I mean, things are different now. So, but yeah, Dab's really fun. I think we should do more of this.
Absolutely.
I know everybody has a different opinion or whatever, but I really had a lot of fun in this tournament, and I think it's really neat. It's an interesting way to play, and maybe eventually we can update some of the what do you call them, like the objectives and stuff?
We talked about it before this tournament, but then it kind of never happened. But we especially want to rename a couple of them.
Yeah.
But we want to add so many more and just put a bit of variety in it, because it gets to a point where Dab is, you get the similar things over and over. And I heard you saying on the restream, it'd be nice to have a limit, saying you can only collect a maximum of this amount. And
Just
And
don't do that
that'd
with
be
missiles, because
really
we might
good.
have all our trackers quit if you did that with missiles. Because those are so hard to track.
Or like, I'll give you another quick example of what I was thinking, and obviously we'd have to kind of test some of these out. But for example, there's one objective that's like collect charge or wave beam, right? Well,
That's always going to be
Not-
charged. Yeah.
everybody's getting charged. So in my opinion, it'd be cooler if it was like if you collect charge beam, then you're forced to also get wave beam, or you can choose to get neither. Like then you'd really have to think
Get
about
both or neither.
like
Yeah.
That's
what you're
interesting.
doing, and like who
that's-
you're fighting and stuff.
I've actually never heard that idea before.
That's
like
a really
that
good
one.
idea. Yeah.
Well, I'd
But
like to
it's not a
see.
tournament thing. It's just a community in general. We need to decide what we want to add to there. And
I'll tell you what I'd like to see is the missile recharge and energy recharge stations in Meridia as a square, and
That's
also
what I
maybe the
meant.
Lower Norfair one, the one near Screw Attack. So,
Yeah, and
Yeah.
the save stations would be nasty too.
this,
Yeah.
There's so many.
hit
rooms
X
that
number
we've
of
got
save
within
stations or
Dab.
something. Although I argue you should have to actually get the maps and get the reef.
Yeah, the reason
Well-
that isn't is because of Rex shape, and it means for more routing options because you can skip Fantoon. I think that's the only reason why you don't have to collect them.
Well, make
I
them kill
don't think
Fantoon. I don't think that's a good enough
I
reason.
think it's so good. enough.
You
Like-
can kill Fantoon then.
I mean,
in
I
the-
get
in
it.
in the last tourney, I actually didn't fight Fantoon. I went there and got the map and left, and that was actually a route that I did. So that was in the old tourney, but
Nice.
It's in the first and I think still third placing times that I have.
You do have the first.
Yeah, in both of those, I had map stations, and I actually got the map in protest.
Nice.
I think I did get in one of my races in this tournament. I did get the missile refill because I wasn't sure whether I needed that or not. I always knew about the map station, but
Well, maybe we should get an organizer to clarify that.
But like the thing with the thing, I think the map thing was made to mirror the fact that you don't have to do the missile and energy refills, but you don't have to do the missile and energy refills because they don't set a flag when you've done it. Like it doesn't make a difference whether you use the station or not.
yeah.
But for the maps, it does.
It's definitely a rule we could change in the future, though. But yeah, for this tournament, we just went with what was previously agreed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I for one definitely hope we do some more of these dab tournaments, because you think about it, someone can in the Super Metroid community could just say, hey, anyone want to do a race of some sort? And, you can get a whole bunch of people doing a race, but that's in dab, that's kind of hard. I mean, I know you can do the kind of cyclical, A signs to B, B signs to C, C signs to D, and D signs to A, but I don't think that's quite the same, in my
Yeah.
opinion, as the one-on-one that you get in a tournament situation.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not.
Because everyone has different ideas on what's hard and what's not as well. So.
Right. Well, guys, that was really a pleasure to watch. I really enjoyed that, and
Oh,
I'm looking
absolutely.
forward to the
Yeah,
next
it-
match with Pharaoh and Rumble, and all the other matches that are going to happen for this tournament. But GG to both of you guys. I'm going to let y'all kind of wrap up and finish. But thank you, chat. Hope you enjoyed it. And Tracy, it was a lot of fun as always doing commentary with you. Thanks again to Spaghetti Toast Book for tracking. And I'll see you guys next mission.
Yeah, always a pleasure, Kip.
Yeah, that was a great race. I'm pretty happy to go out on
Yeah.
that one. Good luck.
Thanks. I think this is the first. All the past races I've relied on my execution, but I've made bad routing decisions. This is the first race I've done where I'm happy with the route that I chose, and
Well, you picked
Yeah,
a great
yes,
time to
it's
start.
Yesterday's route was a bit odd.
I did say if I wanted to lose to anyone, like I'd be happy to lose to you, but anyway, yeah. Good luck with the other tournaments.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll see you later.
Yeah, thanks, Farrell. And thanks, Azder. Okay, so that'll do it for us. So right now, there's actually nothing scheduled that will come soon. We do have Cross Product versus Beeps coming up, and we do have now Farrell will be playing Rumblemans, so watch out for those. Let's see. Next on this channel is Link's Awakening Warpless, Swiss Round 3. Several other things going on in SpeedGaming. We have a Super Mario Bros. Warpless tournament, Mamadora Reverie Under the Moonlight and Final Fantasy at 3 o'clock. So tune in for one of those. Again, thank you to Kip for joining me. Thank you to our runners, Farrell and Azder, for putting on a great show. That really was a good race, and between two very good runners. Thank you to Mr. Broadstone for setting us up behind the scenes in Speed Gaming, and to Dosebook for doing the tracking. I may have said that twice. If you aren't already following these guys, why aren't you? You should definitely follow them, along with Kip and Spaghetti from our commentary team. And thank you again for Speed Gaming for allowing us to do our tournament here. Love being on Speed Gaming. They do such great work. And so that'll do it. So as always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, or good night, wherever you may be.